So end of the day, red. It's the first red day I had in a while, and it's not like a detrimental loss, but it's definitely a frustrating one because before this trade, I was actually up a lot on the day. A few other stocks, mRNA and NVAX, and that's also the thing with trading on remote is that I'm distracted. My screen's real estate is not enough to see all the stocks closely. And while I was focused on NVAX and mRNA, this kind of rip happened and I just had to cover it. I couldn't even, take a small loss or reassess. I just had to cover. And I'm not making excuses. I did scale back in short, after, taking a nice profit from my shorts from, $15. I covered most of it here, but I did re-add back. Not to full size, but this squeeze, this blow off candle was still enough to take out a big chunk on my day. So, and I did re-enter a little bit more on the backside. Trade kind of got really messy on the short side. I did try a few long. It also didn't work. And eventually I realized, I'm kind of over trading this ticker, both on the long side and the short side. So took a pretty decent loss on IMRN. So I'm definitely frustrated, especially that's after I was up a lot on this NVAX trade. So, the stock, NVAX, we started selling off with the rest of the sector. We've been going straight up for pretty much the last week. So a pullback was due and, I had a starter. And once we start teetering around this red to green area, I re-added back. And after this, the stock immediately flush. You can see, we literally tanked from 141 all the way down to 124. So that's a very decent gain. I was up a lot on this trade. I did try to scale back short again. You can see the short didn't work. I had a long scalp here and then the short, gave back some profit on the short side. But this is still a very good trade on NVAX. I'm really happy with it. It's a really similar setup with mRNA. I did take a loss on long side first, and then this is where we hit it short after we rejected this $90 area. I did cover some too soon accidentally, but I did have a majority of size down here. I covered all over here, tried to scalp for a long. When that didn't work, I tried to put back in a short and then a long as well. So I did give back, same as NVAX. I tried to re-add back, didn't work, and gave back some profit. But mRNA and NVAX were really good trades. It's this trade, unfortunately, on IMRN that really ruined the day. So, I was trading, from managing all these positions at the same time. I was a little bit distracted. So, I wasn't able to manage this IMRN trade properly. Maybe I should have cut my reshort a lot earlier than up here, essentially at 1570s. And maybe I should have just left it alone as well. So here's a few things for me to kind of review and think about. Unfortunately, red on the day from this ticker. And that's after two very good trades. So I'm definitely very frustrated. And I did, overtrade this ticker a little bit too much as well. Tried to go back in for a reshort and then tried a few longs. And overall, it's just... IMRN, I'm sure, I sound very frustrated because I am. So put me red on the day after a very nice green streak I've had. So not a detrimental loss, but definitely a loss that's enough for me to be, to still be kind of, emotionally frustrated with this name. So a really nice recovery today for me after a red day yesterday. But of course, recovering the losses is never the goal I have the day after the loss. So the goal is always just to trade well and, regain my confidence. And if by doing so, I recoup everything back and more, then that's great. But that should be a byproduct, should never be the goal, at least for me. So IMRN, surprisingly, after a huge sell-off down to $10, it gapped up all the way to a high of $26 on some fluff news. Now, when this happens, there's a few factors in play, right? There's tons of shorts who are holding this overnight that's being stuck. But at the same time, there's also the risk of dilution because usually that's why they are trying so hard to prop the stock up for, consecutive days. So you gotta be aware of that. There's a long play and there's a short play, but it's all about playing the price action. So my first few trades were actually long on IMRN when the stock, was trading around 26, dipped all the way down to, $20 and 29.50s. That's why I took a long, pre-market size, nothing big, just, getting my feet wet and selling to the push towards 22, and I was all out by 23. So nice gainer to start the day on the long side. And it's after, when we consolidated around this pre-market, I started putting back in a short. Like I said, dilution potential in the stock is just kind of being held up here, right? Started a short here, and after we immediately dropped, and I was kind of doing my other pre-market plans at the time, so I wasn't really following what the news was about. And then, I hear Benzinga Charlie saying that, oh, they dropped an offering, which wasn't a surprise. But still, we are still holding above this 1950s area. So the action was kind of strange. It seems like they're trying to prop it up to do one more squeeze like this, which they did after the open. So I did cover a little bit more before the open, just in case, right? Because after being squeezed from $10 to like 19 yesterday, I got to be careful. So I covered some, but I was still leaving a majority on. And we did get the squeeze all the way to 21 that I kind of anticipated, but I didn't add into it because, like I said, I was a little bit nervous, of course, but also, my better add would have been up here around this area, right? Around 22, 23s. You don't want to underestimate this kind of stock. It's a low float stock after all. But after we failed this area, we didn't get the secondary push I was looking for. We rejected back to 1950s, and that's where, I put back in all my size I had wanted. Because this support, this key level, once failed, it's very unlikely that we're gonna reclaim and go up higher. You can see we kind of bounced about here in this range from 1850 to 1950, $1 range for a while, but price action was still good. You can see the volume is decreasing, selling volume stepping in. So that's what gave me the conviction to keep on holding. And at the time, a couple of other stocks was ripping. So if everyone else is looking at all the other stocks, there's no one buying this kind of shit. So that's why I was able to hold for so long and got the flush move that I wanted. 1740s was the first covered some more here, and didn't get the bottom tick here, but just trying to cover my share sizes since volume is dropping and also out. Best cover was 1570s, and I'm extremely happy about this trade. I think I managed it really well, sizing risk and letting the winner run. It's probably gonna keep on fading down to $12 to be honest, but I'm all out. I took the meat of the move and I was onto a few other trades. So the second trade for me is another stock like traded yesterday on the short side, NVAX. So I had thought that we're gonna get a secondary move to make new lows potentially, but the same area 140s from yesterday was also the key level, and once we start breaking down, that's why I scaled in short. It did take a while, so I took off some risk. You can see I tried to scale in here, took off some risk, but waited for the confirmation when the stock goes green to red and below this previous day close. That's why I added back. And then we literally just flushed down to this area from previous supports, and we're not making new lows. So at this point, I covered most just in case we start making this kind of grind up action, which we did. When volume kind of decreases, that's kind of what happens. So, even if you're right, you have to manage your risk, and you don't want to turn a winner into a loser. So I did try to re-add short and see now if we're gonna keep on flushing down, and when we're just holding up, and that's when I covered it up. So ended up being a small win, but still pretty decent, given that it's a stock I made a lot of gains on yesterday, and I'm just looking for a continuation. But now it's going red to green now and holding up, so that's why I left it alone. The third stock was a loser on the day, but on starter size. IBM, man, they sold off the entire gap, which was disappointing. They had good news, good earnings, good guidance, so I was looking for a move to reclaim 130s and go on long higher. You can see I had 2 starter size long. I was willing to let it work, risking the low of the day. We did try to curl for a little bit, but when that didn't work, I cut it at 129. So I lost about a little bit more than $1 a share, but that was manageable. You can see the stock just keep on fading off. So pretty disappointed by the action on the large cap market, especially on a day like today. Final stock on the day is MTP. So this one, I made money on the short side, but took a loss on the long side. I had a scalp shorts here, just saying that, thinking that we're really extended. And this is why I went back in long, actually. Longed it here, longed it some more. I was thinking we're gonna get a push to $7. And because at the time, momentum was strong. It seems like they were trapping shorts up there. But when we get this kind of rejection candle, I know this is game over. The read was probably right on the short side earlier when I started shorting here. This is what happens when you try to, double dip and try to play both sides. Sometimes it works, but most times for me, I tend to be better when I'm more focused on either just the long or the short. So in hindsight, shouldn't have longed, but it's okay to cut my loser and I scale back in short. Shorted some here, added some more, re-added, and you can see I covered most of it around this 560s. The best cover was 520s and didn't get this move to 480s. That would have been really nice, but I'm closing out on the shop on the day. You can see it did kind of this weird V-shape action to test the highs, and we're rejecting $7 again. So that's the second time it's rejected. Once here and once here. So, it's probably gonna bounce around this area from $5 to $6. But this one's another one of those dilution potential. So that's why I only like to play these kind of stocks in the morning and kind of just avoid them in the afternoon. Unfortunately, it's another red day recap. It's been a while since I have 2 red days in a week. I think I had a red day on Monday. So today, unfortunately, it's one of those days where just nothing worked. I was green in the morning early on, and then, I did go back for some secondary trades. I did turn all the green trades into losers. So at the end of the day, I think I traded 4 tickers, and literally everything was red. I was red on all my positions, long or shorts, and just nothing worked. So I'm definitely not feeling it today, and a little bit frustrated. Okay, so first ticker on the day, MXC. I was actually long the stock and then short the stock. Later on, I was longed here, sold some. I sold the majority here, and this is where I tried to go for a long again. And I did make money on the long side, but it's on the short side. Sorry, this is where I started a short. So the longs here, I was sold into here and here. Because these low float sketchy stocks, I have a lot of trouble holding, but I did make, some, in hindsight, some pretty decent trades on the long side. And then it's when I started scaling in short, I got squeezed and gave back a lot of the profit. I started shorting here, got squeezed, cover, and I think I tried it again here and covered here, and it just kind of became a mess here. And I did have some long, some short here, and eventually, it did fade off back to 8. But I did give back the profits on both the long side and the short side. So just tricky stock. In hindsight, I should have just left it alone after the first trades, and when I start making mistakes, usually that's when I should stop trading the ticker and move on to something else. But red on this ticker, both long and short. I'm very frustrated with this, I'm not gonna lie. Second trade is SNDE. This one I did make money initially. Again, similar story to MXC. I made money, decent profit initially, should have left it, but I went back for the secondary short, and this is where I got squeezed. Here you can see, just shorted here. I got squeezed, I tried to re-short it again, got squeezed again. I did go in for a long scalp, finally learned my lesson, right? Went in for a long scalp, I made money on the long, and re-shorted at the top, but unfortunately I didn't have a lot size on the re-short because I really did think they're gonna push it to 5 before they dump it, and they didn't. So I had, starter size short. I did cover into this. It's a mess, honestly. And I tried after the cover. I tried to go in. We actually hold it down. I covered after the hold. I did try to go for a long, and I made some small profit on the long side, and then I guess at the end I tried the scalp short that made some small profit back. But at this point, I wasn't feeling confident. So all the secondary trades, they were not that well executed. And the final trade on the short side, I did make money, but it's a smaller share size. So I wasn't able to go green on this ticker either. So red and on both the long and shorts on SNDE. It's just not a good day. Like, honestly, I'm pretty pissed at myself. Not making excuses. The only trade that I also lost money on, but it's on a lot smaller size, is AMD. In hindsight, I really should have let it ride out, but I was feeling so, crushed by both XMC and SNDE that I just kind of took it off. And, it's one of those days where nothing is working. And if I keep on trading, it's most likely, in the past, I know myself well, if I keep on trading after, being red on so many trades, I'm gonna lose even more. So AMD was really strong. You can see it's a very clear daily breakout. We're gonna keep on running for another day or two. And they have earnings in a week. So they tend to run into earnings. So that's why I took a long starter, added on the dip. It was a good ad. I was looking for this kind of move, but when, I really should have held through this dip in hindsight. This wasn't that much of a dip. After the ad here, I had an average about 60, 70s. So, a 60-cent dip on a large cap stock that can move dollars, that's really nothing. I should have held through it. But like I said, I was not feeling great with my other trades and my confidence, and I cut it. But in hindsight, should I really let it ride? You can see we tested 62 at near the end of the day. This would have been a nice swing trade entry, to be honest. So not a good day. It's a second red day on the week for me. The last one was on Monday. It's not often that I get more than one red day in a week, so not feeling great at this point. I'm only down a couple grand, so it's not like a detrimental loss, but still, the loss is mostly on the mental side, and I'm just not confident after having these kind of losers. The trading is super simple and super small today, and of course that's after a red day yesterday. I just kind of want to regain confidence and kind of get the groove back. So I did size down a lot, and I did end the day green, just very small though, only a couple $100. But it's still not the cleanest action, to be honest. MIST. I started as small shorts because, we're going parabolic. You can see we went straight from 670s into $9. That's within the open. And I did short into that and covered for a small win. Again, I sized down dramatically, and I was just trying to use scaling to protect my downside. So I only want to add into a winner. So I did long here and sold into the push and made some money on the long side. And when I was thinking we're going to consolidate to a breakout to $10 on the daily magnet, we just didn't get that. And I did catch a falling knife here, but these are with small starter sizes. I'm trying to build a long position. When it became clear that would really not reclaiming VWAP, would really not uptrending anymore, I cut the loser on the long side. So I did give back profit again today on the long side, and then later on the short side too. So at this point, when I started giving back profits, I just kind of decided to leave it alone. So still not the best day, to be honest, but I'm happy to just to have traded a little bit better, in my opinion, today. I stopped myself from trading pretty much after 10 o'clock, and I just kind of watched everything else. A small green on the day, but that's not the point. The point is just, trying to regain my confidence and trying to trade well. So ending the day here with, a tiny win, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the bad jokes. If you want to see more day trading content, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter and Instagram for more. If you'd like to trade with me daily and get my free weekend watch list and trading journal, make sure to check out the links below for more resources. Stay green, stay positive, and I'll see you guys next time.